And this is such as saying min sharri ma khalaq rather than saying min sharri ma khalaq. Min sharri ma khalaq. Stop. Min sharri ma khalaq versus min sharri ma khalaq. This is a hidden mistake. Hidden mistakes, 50% of the scholars say it is haram, forbidden. The other 50% of the scholars say it is makruh, be hated by Allah Azza wa Jal. So, if you are saying min sharri ma khalaq or a'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan ar-rajim, what if you say sirat al-lazina? What is this? Sirat al-lazina, is this khafi or jali?
Jali.
Jali. Jali, sirat al-lazina. Al-lazina, is it like this? Or is it like this? Al-lazina. Not al-lazina. You're making a haram mistake right there. What about if you're saying sirata? Alright? If you say قل أعوذ برب الناس versus قل أعوذ برب الناس, that could be hidden or it could be jali. So you see, the mistakes are all over the place. But you are either going to be haram or be hated. And what is the ruling on makruh? Makruh is anything that if you don't do, you get reward for. But if you do, you're not gonna be accumulating sins for, but it is something that Allah Azza wa Jal does not want to see you doing. Okay? So, now that you know how crucial this could be, that you could be reading the Quran and committing haram. And by the way, this is 50% of the scholars say it is haram. So it's not that far. And if I know 50% of the scholars think it is haram, I'm going to go by this too. So now, I should put in your head that learning tajweed is extremely important. Otherwise, you might be committing haram. Now, you don't know, it's a different case. But now you are in this class, you are responsible, you know. So if you are making a mistake from now on in tajweed, knowing that it is wrong, you are doing this. Where do you implement tajweed? Can I implement tajweed in Arabic poetry? No. The only place for tajweed is Al-Quran. Can I implement tajweed in hadith? No. The only place for tajweed is Quran. Why was there tajweed? Tajweed came about when Islam got bigger. When the nation of Islam, when Muslim would start reaching all the way the Far East regions of India and Pakistan and beyond that. Before that, everybody spoke Arabic. If you look at the Quran, if you look at a picture from a Quran, the earliest copies of Quran, if you go to the museums and look at it, how do they look like? They don't look anything like the Quran we read today. There is no harakas. There's no even dots. Right? The Quran had only 7 letters. But because the Arabic language and the people around that time knew the Quran so well, if I actually write this with no dots on it and write this, I know that this is Baytullah, even though there's no dots on it. But because they knew the language so well, they did not have to put the dots. But when the Quran started reaching to Iraq and beyond and reaching all the way here and here where people are not Arabs, they had to say, all right, I'm going to differentiate between the ba and the ta and the tha. And not only that, I eventually started putting fathas and kasras and all of that stuff. The movements. Okay? This is why Quran came about. Now, let's start talking about tajweed. Sound comes from 4 places in the universe. There are four sources for sound. You have sound from collision, that created sound. You have sound from friction. You have sound from separation, or you have sound from vibration. Chords on a piano, chords on a violin, they vibrate and make sound. On a guitar, your voice comes from vocal vibration. That's your voice, comes from vocal vibration. But al-ba, the letter of ba, if I add that alif to it, I discover that it comes from collision. Ab, fa, friction, as the air moves above my lips. Kha, friction, as the air rubs against the roof of my mouth. 4 places for making sound. Today, we will begin by talking about makharij al-huruf. In today's lesson, for the next few weeks, we're going to talk about makharij al-huruf. Which means exits of the letters. Okay, makharij al-huruf. There are 5 different makharij for letters. 5 anatomical makharij for letters. Al-jawf, which means gut, right here. Okay. Al-halq, which means throat. Al-lisan, which is the tongue. Al-khayshum. You need to learn these words, by the way, in Arabic. It's very important. Which means the nasal cavity. And finally, Ash-shafatan, which are lips. Okay? Al-jawf, al-halq, al-lisan, al-khayshum, wal-shafatan. Today we're going to talk about 2 of them.